searching begins. Find yourself within. Take up your blade. Let the fears within fade. Stories are told as the die roll. Don't be afraid. Make your destiny will find you in me. Friends at your side, may the group with pride. Try as you might, you now live to fight. Monster nor foe can fill you with woe. Enemies in sight, it's time to roll dice. Roll for initiative. Check, please.
Welcome to Check Please Season 2, Episode 0.
Dun dun dun!
This is sort of an interstitial podcast, sort of an intermediary between Season 1 and Season 2. We have a couple of new characters that are going to be introduced. And we felt it would be best to have a special little spotlight to sort of bring them into the world.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, exactly. So, to those listening through chronologically, you would have just heard at the end of Season 1, a new character had recently appeared in the world. And that character, riding in a cart, is going to be rolling into a small village. Riz.
Yes.
You see before you a small village. It is on the bank of a river. And it has a sort of a dreary look to it. All of the trees, they're barren of leaves. The area has sort of a cold wind blowing, and you would guess that it's maybe sometime in the either very late winter or very early spring, because it is still pretty much dead out everywhere. But the sun is up, although it is hidden behind a pretty dense layer of overcast cloud. And the town before you appears busy.
How long have I been in this world at this point? Is this
A few
right
hours.
after I got here? Okay.
Mm-hmm. A few hours.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah, you appeared on a road and you just followed it because it was the only thing that made sense. I mean, why go anywhere else? There's a path before you.
Exactly. It is simply instinct.
Mm-hmm.
That is what you are supposed to do.
So you approach this town, which is sort of in a small valley. And as you wind down through a pathway north of the town, you can see a group has gathered in the center of town in what appears to be some sort of trade forum. And you see a crowd has gathered. There are shouts that can be heard in the distance. Please roll me a perception check.
37.
It's gonna be one of those characters.
I'm sorry, my my perception is plus 20. So,
that's fine. Hey, it's fine. That's the way it goes. So you hear snippets of conversation and shouting as you approach this center trade district, and you hear things like freak or get out of here or we don't want your kind here, things of that nature.
okay. I would like to go towards this commotion.
Yeah, you head toward this commotion and you see a crowd that has sort of surrounded a person in the middle of the forum here. Foaly, would you describe what your character looks like?
I would be happy to. To begin with, they are a half-orc. They are thin to the point of being gaunt, 5'4"-ish. Their hair is black, shaved at the temples. They have eyes that are either painted or it's a racial feature, or not even sure, maybe they have just been punched a couple of times, but very baggy, black-rimmed eyes. 2 fangs protrude upwards from their lower jaw. One appears to be capped in gold. The other appears to be snapped in half, as if it was once capped and then broken off. There are a series of earrings going the cartilage, from the lobe to the cartilage, on both ears. They're dressed in very basic, just black travelling robes, and they do not look pleased with all of this attention. Not even a little bit. They are glaring with a considerable amount of ferocity.
Okay. And how many people are surrounding this person?
I would say it's about 20 currently. Okay. Most of them appear to be dressed in basic peasant clothes. You imagine them to be either farmers or fishermen.
Okay, so this is a poor town.
It doesn't look like a particularly wealthy place, no.
Well, that's just disappointing in one end or another. So, Riz will come up with their caravan, their little cart and horse, and pretty much just drive right next to the people. Hello, all of you.
I look back at this newcomer, and above the din of the crowd, say, "And what do you think you're looking at?"
Hey, Beardy, can you tell me?
Yeah.
What they see?
One moment. Yeah, absolutely. So, Foaly, your character, you see a Varda wagon pull up to the other side of this crowd that's sort of descended around you. And what you see is a skeletal crone in silks and furs, wearing almost theatrical makeup.
Oh my god. Okay.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And the skeletal crone has sort of pulled this Varda up on the other side of this crowd of people. And they're looking either at the general commotion or at you specifically. You're not entirely certain.
Awkward.
So, if things couldn't get worse, suddenly there's this weird-looking crone looking at you.
Yeah, I turn my gaze from the crowd to the crone and back again, as if I'm looking for the nearest possible escape route. In fact, do I need to roll anything just to see if there were a way to escape the crowd if I needed to?
Certainly, if you'd like to make a perception check.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a normal roll. 19.
Okay, so what you see looking around this area, you see beyond these 20 or so farmers and fishermen, none of them really look to be armed in any appreciable way. Maybe one or two of them have a club or some other heavy blunt instrument, but nothing that would truly be considered a weapon. And they also, all of them appear to be not really combat trained in any appreciable way. So would it come down to blows, you're fairly certain that you could just take them all yourself. Being that, you've been around the block a few times, and these people definitely don't appear to be much of a threat. The only reason that they're even standing up to you is probably because they outnumber you so significantly. As far as getting away from here, they have you pretty well surrounded, but you could just start to try to push your way out of the crowd if you really felt like it.
Well, it's how heated is it getting?
A lot of them just seem to have a sort of a strange blanket racism toward you. Like some of them are spitting at the ground in front of you, or calling out curses and just general nastiness your way.
Listen, all of you, what exactly is the meaning of this commotion? You are all acting very strange.
All right, just make a diplomacy check for me, please.
I would love to make a diplomacy check for you. 33.
I'm so excited about this.
I haven't rolled in so long like this. It feels like I'm back at home.
Aww.
All right. So the crowd is going to turn and look at you, and a bunch of them sort of reflexively either start making warding gestures with their hands or start to pray in certain ways, like just from seeing you. Some of them appear to be shocked by your appearance. I'm not entirely sure why.
I got an idea. Not 100%, but I have a feeling.
This could be interesting.
I am sure all of this is a misunderstanding. I must request you step away from this young person. and simply go about your lives as is without bothering them more.
Are you so thick that you don't think that I already tried that with them?
You should probably leave these to me.
Oh, knock yourself out.
Maybe one day.
What?
So, are we going to listen to me peacefully and go about your lives? Or do we have an issue and I have to take care of you all myself?
So, a great deal of the people gathered here are going to look between you and this half-orc, and they're going to feel like the odds are in their favor because of just how significant their numbers are. So, a lot of them don't seem to be interested in backing off, and one of them is going to shout, "Well, why should we? That one's an orc! Orcs just come here to kill and steal!"
If I look at this person, do they look like an orc? I've met orcs before.
They don't look much like an orc. I mean, they look like a half-orc, for certain. They definitely have orc blood, but they also have what appears to be human blood as well. So they're certainly not full-blooded orc. Probably half. Maybe less.
Quite angular features. It's obvious if you know what you're looking for, and...
That is not an orc. That is half-orc. That person you are simply discriminating against? It is very rude.
Well, but what if they were raised by orcs and they were the same, and maybe they're just here to steal things and attack our village?
Were you raised by orcs?
No, but this lot were clearly raised by a bunch of bigots.
Probably. Not raised by orcs, as you can see. Probably trying to pass through. Like me. Because I do not see coin in pockets, because otherwise... And Riz hits their cart, and like a little awning folds out slightly. I sell fortunes, which I can give for a good price. To aid in your lives that currently seem a little despairing, since you are dealing with someone who brings you fear.
There's murmurs and gasps among the crowd, just trying to understand what's going on.
I stand there and I couldn't roll my eyes harder if I tried.
The fortunes I bring will aid you into a much more successful life. I can bring you life more so better than you have ever experienced. Now come and give me coin, and I give you better life. Fortunes are many for all who need one. Please, do not bother the person in the middle anymore. Look at cart. Beautiful. Look, do not touch horse. That is one thing. Yes, do not touch horse.
For the love of all the people I could get saved by, it has to be someone like you.
Darling, I don't give a fuck. And then they go back to addressing the rest of the crowd, trying to woo everyone in with bright, colorful looking magic.
Okay, give me another... Well, that would be maybe performance if you have it.
Oh, I do not have any performances.
Then I'll take a diplomacy instead.
Okay.
That's a penalty.
36.
I think that's still enough. I think that's still enough. Alright, so you utterly fascinate this crowd, and they no longer seem interested in the half-orc. A few of them that are like really, like the real strong bigots in this crowd kind of just keep looking back at the half-orc to be like, are they still there? I guess they're still there. And they turn back and they look at this Varda, and then every so often they'll look back and see like, oh yeah, the half-orc's still here, and then they'll look back. The rest of the crowd, though, probably the other 16 of them, are totally enraptured by whatever it is that you're doing.
I take this opportunity to sort of slink backwards, very, very slowly and carefully, away from the crowd. And is there a tavern in this town by any chance?
Yeah, there is.
Is it somewhere I can slink to without getting the crowd's attention?
Yeah, you could try that. Give me a stealth check.
Sure.
To stealth away from the crowd, and you can go and try to find a tavern around here.
That would be wonderful. Rolling stealth? That is a 7. I'm
7,
guessing that did not quite work.
Excellent. So a natural 1 on that. I'm going to go ahead and roll some perceptions for the crowd.
Beautiful nat 1, by the way.
Thank you very much. At least it wasn't on my very first roll. And also, can I just take a moment to say thank you for having me? And this is really fun to be a part of this. I'm excited.
Of course, thank you for being a part of our family.
Yay.
Ooh, a little bit of Pringle almost came out in that moment. I am so sorry.
Yeah, you really don't want Pringle to pop out this early.
Yeah, I don't need her right now.
Knew I should have dropped more points into stealth. Gah!
All right, and could I get a perception check from Riz, please?
Of course. I was planning on keeping my eye on the half-orc anyways. 29.
Okay. All right, excellent. So at 29, you are going to notice the half-orc slink away from the crowd and head up a back street toward somewhere else. However, you also notice that a lot of the crowd also takes notice of this. So the slink was not the best slinking that you've ever seen slunk. But anyway...
an attempt was made.
An attempt was made, and that's what's important.
Yes.
So after the half-orc slinks away, the rest of the crowd is going to, approach and ask questions about what it is that you do, how much does it cost.
I give fortunes, and fortunes, how good fortune is, it depends on how good you're willing to pay. The more you pay, the better the fortune.
Well, how do we know it works?
Would anyone like to know who they are related to in any way? That they might have lost a child at some point? I can prove to you that. Yes.
Am I still in hearing distance of this?
If you choose to be, yeah.
Perhaps...
I stop in my tracks and fidget as if I'm not certain whether to continue on or whether I need to address what I've just heard.
Perhaps someone you've lost in life relation-wise, a parent, a cousin. I can find out where they are and who they are.
I turn on my heel and just stamp back, not caring about however many people are near me. Do they get in my way? Do they try and obstruct me, or do they see the look on my face?
Well, after you slinked away, they all turned back toward the Varda, so you just sort of walk back up to the crowd, and I imagine you're just sort of pushing your way through these people to get back up to the front of the crowd.
I can also scry on someone, as long as you give me enough details about them, like you know them, like you've lived their life. I can find them with my third eye.
I push my way all the way to the front, and I very icily look at this person and say... Oh, sorry?
I was going to say, one thing is that you look at this crone, and they don't have 3 eyes.
So you're stuck in your ways. Okay, interesting.
Ah, dear.
That tells me plenty, just, like, not my character, but me as a player. That tells me plenty about yours.
I glare at this crone, not quite understanding everything that just went down out of character. But I glare at this crone and say as icily as I can, "Oh, well, perhaps you'd like to contact my sister then."
I can find your sister. I cannot contact them.
My muscular arse, you can. Go on then. If you're so clever. If you're so talented, if you're for real.
Oh, yeah, I can fucking do that easy peasy. I would like to use my spell Discern Next of Kin.
Okay, one moment.
And I'm looking for this person's sister in their mind. You can tell me her name at least? And I can find her.
Her name was Verla. You want me to spell it out for you?
No, that is enough.
For the audience, Discern Next of Kin can scan through the thoughts of one individual and learn the names and locations of the target's living relatives, as well as the attitude of the target toward those relatives and vice versa. You learn about one relative per round you concentrate on the target. For example, you might learn the target's father's name is Jarn, the father lives on a nearby farm, and the target and his father don't get along. Since the spell reads the target's mind, you can learn only what the target knows or believes.
Okay. So you cast the spell and you're trying to discern a dead relative, you said?
I'm looking for the location of their sister. I don't know if they're dead.
Oh, I see. In that case, you use Discern Next of Kin on this half-orc in the intent of scanning for a sister, and the spell does not succeed. You find 2 living relatives.
Okay.
But they're both parents.
I do not see a sister. I only see parents.
Also, Foaly, correct me if I'm wrong about that.
No, that's accurate.
Okay.
Is your sister dead? Or never existed? Were you trying to fool me?
I think you might have fooled yourself. I just look like I don't want to have this conversation. I may be
Can I sense motive?
Sure, I guess. This is interpersonal between PCs.
31.
Well, hash it up between yourselves.
I will.
Can I sense motive in return?
Sure, I can tell you exactly how Riz is. You don't need a sense motive. They look pissed. I want to see if you're lying or something to me. That's what I'm doing sense motive for.
I want to see if you've got any actual oracular ability, or if you're just a fake looking to...
Alright, sense motive.
Looking to get some gold off these racist villagers.
Sense motive!
I would, if I could find it.
It's in the skills. It's at the bottom. Everything's alphabetical.
Okay, alright. I'm gonna drag that one down as well, because clearly I'm gonna need it again. Rolling sense motive. That's a 21.
Riz is 100% telling the truth about their capabilities. However, they do want coin from people nonetheless. It does not matter. They do want money.
Did I tell you enough to satisfy your roll? Or do you want more from me?
Oh, are you lying? That's what my roll was for.
Beg pardon.
You can bluff, but I'd usually say if my sense motive beats your bluff.
They were trying to trip you up, that much is clear. Whether or not they have a sister, it sounds like they had a sister at one point, but that relationship has been severed in one way or another.
I see. You're not exactly telling full truth, darling. You are young, though. And apparently very stubborn. Do not worry, I am stubborn, too.
And talking about things that you don't understand.
I understand many things in this world that you may not.
Alright. Look, your pat is very impressive, but it's pretty obvious that you're just after these people's money.
Yes.
Oh, I look kind of surprised by this honesty. My brow furrows. It's like, oh, that was easy. I could have just asked.
I do not think you understand. This is my business. I am not some charlatan. I am making my living on the road, as anyone would if they were on the road. You simply trying to ignore the fact that I am making a living just like any of these people who do farming as trade, I am assuming. Do you fault these people for trading for their livelihood?
I grumble and sort of mutter. I've met a lot of charlatans, and you're the most charlatan-like real deal that I've ever come across. Perhaps I stand corrected.
Riz looks at you with a stone-cold stare.
I stand corrected, then. And I kind of, I just sigh heavily. Look, can I just buy you a drink and we'll forget about it? It's an honest misunderstanding between professionals.
Of course. After I am done working. Understand? And I will buy you a drink in return. And Riz just starts hitting their cart, and more little pops of area start popping out as a small bench is getting created off the side. As they go and sit down in front of people, they pull out this fucking crystal ball. Well, who wants fortune now that I have discerned such things as truth,
Oh, they have a crystal ball! They're really one of them fortune teller types!
Works every time.
Am I going to have a good harvest? Is Rosie going to be...
The blood rushing to my face could be embarrassment, or it could just be barely suppressed rage.
So Riz will take care of these people over time, depending on how well they pay. If there's someone who pays better, or someone who actually looks like they need more help, they will use their special skill points. Beardy.
Okay, cool.
So take what you want on that end. I believe you no matter what.
Okay. In that case, I'll go ahead and go in here. So you use... Yeah, so you're going to use 4 of them over the course of this.
Okay.
3 of them were people that paid you a silver piece or more.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people are pretty damn poor, so
yeah,
they don't have a whole lot of money. Yeah, so they pay you with a silver coin or more, and then one of them was a person who was very much down on their luck, and you took pity on them. So you give fortunes. Most of them are very basic, and some of them you try your best to help.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, a little bit of time will pass, and the two... Well, I'm not sure where is your character going to go for this? Are you going to stand around and wait, or are you going to head on to that tavern?
They are standing at the back of the crowd, since their last attempt to slink off didn't go particularly well. Arms crossed, sulking.
Okay. So you see this crone perform, like, what is just the most practiced performance you've ever seen. It looks like this person has a script just memorized for all of these people. Like, if you didn't know better, you would swear that this was a play you were watching.
But it is legit. We've established it actually is legit fortune telling.
Some of it.
With the sense
Some of it, yeah.
Some of it is.
Some of it is, yeah. Some of it's different. Give me another perception check, and I want to see if you notice something.
I was also going to do a detect magic, if that's...
Yeah, that's fine.
Roll perception. That is a 23.
Nice.
Okay. So during this whole performance, there are 4 times where this crone is going to do something that seems different. They're going to take a moment and they're going to focus and they're going to do something that maybe no one else noticed at the time, but you definitely did. And you could sense something happened.
Can I do a detect magic on that?
Absolutely. You are able to basically create an arc, like a cone-shaped emanation from your hand that's invisible, that allows you to detect the presence of magic. And if you concentrate for a few rounds, you are able to detect the presence of magic, be it magic items that this person's wearing, or spells that this person is casting, but there's definitely the presence of magic.
Okay, so I at least satisfy myself that some of what's happening is legit.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of my initial anger drains from my face. Still kind of, not sure what this person is up to.
Okay. In that case, I would like a perception check from Riz as well, to notice if you were getting scryed on there.
31.
Okay, so you notice that this half-orc casts Detect Magic on you. Actually, if you'd like to roll a spellcraft. So you know that this half-orc was casting spells, but a spellcraft will let you know what it was.
20. Unnatural.
Yeah, unnatural. But yeah, that's enough to determine that this was Detect Magic was cast on you.
Would spellcraft tell me anything about what... We're just going to go back and forth with the same spells here. Would spellcraft tell me anything about what they're up to?
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me a spellcraft, and I will tell you what the information you have about this situation.
That's a 21.
So you don't think that there's any formal spellcasting going on over there, but there's definitely something magical happening, but it's not spellcasting.
Okay. This has certainly caught my attention.
So there's definitely a quick side eye when Riz noticed you cast a spell for Detect Magic, a smirk, and then they continue doing their job until everyone has left for the evening.
Okay.
I give Riz sort of a slight upwards nod, just to, I detect that you detect that I detect that you detect that I detect. We're on the same
we
level
are at
here.
odds.
We both know there's stuff going on.
Hell yeah.
Sorry.
You be quiet. You're not allowed to say that. Do not let them know that. That is rude. Riz is packing up shop. They just step behind their little wagon, and they kick the bottom, and everything just pops back into it. Well, they brush their hands together as if they did a very hard day's work. You said drink, yes?
I think you've earned one with that performance.
Alright, horse. You need to park yourself. Fine, I will help you. Do you mind if I park horse before we go to tavern?
Oh, aye, by all means, do what you have to do with your horse there.
Alright, horse. Stay by fountain over here, yes?
I just look like this person's crazier than I am.
So, just so you have a bit of a benefit of understanding what this all looks like, the Vardo looks a bit like this. So it is a beautifully painted wooden wagon with a little door in the front, a ladder, sort of steps coming off the back. It's all done in ornamentation all over it. And if you'd like to make a perception check, I can tell you a bit more about what you see on it.
Absolutely. Can I do a perception check on the horse as well to see if there is actually communication going on?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that 2 separate rolls?
Yeah, let's do that 2 separate rolls. The first is for the wagon, the second will be for the horse.
Awesome. That is a 19.
Okay. The wagon is covered in ornamentation and, hand painting, very fine detail work. So it looks like the wagon is almost, covered in little painted runes.
Can I read them?
Not without getting much closer and spending time on it.
Okay, fair enough. And then perception check for whatever's going on with this horse. That is a 25.
So what you see is a black horse with black mane that is just breathtakingly beautiful.
Aww.
You see a really beautiful horse that is well taken care of and seems to make noises, just breathes and stamps its hoof at opportune moments. So you're not entirely sure if it's intelligent or not, but it definitely seems to be communicating in some way with this crone.
Okay. I keep my distance from the horse because I don't necessarily have the best effect on animals, just as I don't have the best effect on villagers.
Come, you will stay by this area, and if I see you leave, no carrots. But if you are good, I will bring you carrot. Deal?
The horse will stomp its hoof.
Deal.
And then Riz turns to this half-orc.
My name is Risen. I am a traveler and a fortune teller. Let us go have drink.
I am Kurla, and I go with them. And I have to admit, for a moment there, I thought you were offering me the carrot, not the horse. That was a little bit... This went to an interesting place. So
Don't worry. Riz is only used to being around their horse, usually.
I'm getting that sense. So, how far away is this tavern from where we are?
Not too terribly far. So, the two of you are in the central sort of forum in the middle of town. And you head a little bit to the east, and along the eastern side of town, there is a tavern called the River Bend.
Next to the bend of the river?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's not just a clever name. Can I check to see if we're being followed by any of those villages?
Absolutely. Yeah, give me a perception check.
24.
Okay, so aside from a couple of side eyes, it does not appear like anyone is harboring any sort of anger toward you. It looks like everyone's attention was pretty much stolen by this weird fortune teller traveler. And that's sort of become the talk of the town now. Everyone's talking about, everyone's discussing their fortunes with each other. That you're seeing. The people that were there are telling people that weren't there. And, the two of you make it to the Riverbend Tavern without any real incident.
Okay. I look at Riz and kind of very quietly stammer out, I suppose I ought to thank you for stepping in when you did. You seem to have taken some of the edge off.
I just simply do not enjoy people who are down on their luck getting abused by systems that do not know what powers they are trying to do. But nonetheless, I am very excited for this drink.
So can I do a perception check? Have we entered yet?
Not yet. You're outside.
Okay. All right then. Let's get one of those. I absolutely need one at this point.
Yes. Thank you again for buying. I appreciate. I hate spending money.
But you like making it, don't you?
Yes, very much so. It is something I need.
Right, so the two of you push the door open and enter a fairly standard-looking tavern. There's seating stretched around in tall tables with stools. It's kind of dingy. It's not really well lit. The floors are somewhat dirty, and this definitely seems like a place where tired travelers will come in for a drink and a hot meal before heading out. So there's not much here in the way of class. I'll put it that way.
There's no looking glasses in this tavern, then?
Looking glasses?
Mirrors.
No.
Okay.
You don't see any mirrors.
Cool.
Can I do what's becoming my trademark move and roll a perception check, looking for scoping out the quickest exits and the areas that are in most shadow and are going to draw the least attention from anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. And is that your intent, is to go to the quietest corner of the place?
Are people people serving, or is it one of these go up to the bar and order and then take your drinks back to your table business?
There is one person serving and one person behind the bar.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to want to go to whichever table has the least attention, and that's a 34. That is, 34.
All right. So you look around, and it looks like the people in here have more important things on their mind than watching every new person that comes into the room. So no one seems to have noticed you. And yeah, it does appear that there's a nice quiet corner that the two of you can pop over to.
Just the one entrance?
Yeah, just the one entrance on this side, and then another exit possibly on the other side that goes into a kitchen, you think.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And there were a couple of outhouses outside, just in case you were curious.
I wasn't aware that we had to roleplay that particular aspect of our characters.
I was just letting you know they exist, that's all.
I make my way over to the table.
Riz politely follows you.
Okay. The two of you make it over to the corner of the room and sit down at a quiet table in the corner.
Ah, I see you have similar tastes when it comes to places that you need to spend money at.
I make sure that there is a solid wall behind me so no one can sneak up on me, and I don't quite catch what they've said because I'm too busy still scoping out the place, looking very, very nervous. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You have similar tastes in places to sit and places you give coin.
For someone who likes attention as much as you do, I'm a little surprised to hear that.
I'm not working right now.
I suppose it's good to have a good work-life balance, isn't it?
Yes. I do not feel comfortable unless horses around.
You're a very literal person, aren't you?
Yes. I've lived a long life, I think.
You think?
Yes, I imagine I'm around 160-something.
You don't know for certain how old you are?
I've forgotten some years. So I am not 100%. I am old. What do you want?
Well, for 100 and, what did you say, 65?
Something like that.
Well, if for what it's worth to you, you don't look a day over 164.
Ah, that is what I look like to you. I see.
I beckon for the server.
All right. A server comes over. It's I would say a youth of maybe 14 comes over. What can I get you all?
I turn to Riz. All right, what's your poison then?
Give me hard ale. Pale ale. Ale of some kind. Whatever will knock my socks off by the end of the night.
Sure. And what'll you drink?
I'll have the same, but what have you got by way of food that you're about ready to throw out? You know, meat that might have been left in the sun for a little bit too long, you know, that kind of thing.
I'll check in the back.
Thank you.
And the kid's going to go back over to the bar, relay some information to the barkeep, which, if you're watching, seems to have a familial resemblance. You think it's probably like a father-son thing.
Aww.
And the kid's going to go in the back room. The father's going to prepare some drinks. The kid's going to come back with what looks like a pouch of some kind, and then we'll pick up the two drinks, bring them back over, set them down on the table in front of you. They appear to be some nice bubbly pale ales, and then sets down this pouch in front of you. Yeah, this was, well, it was some beef that has been sort of laying around for a while. We were thinking of throwing it out, but I asked Pa, and he just said to go ahead and give it to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's on the house.
I appreciate that, son. How much for the drinks? I get out some gold from, I guess, my pouch.
Okay.
Beardy.
Say what?
If I'm looking at this half-orc, does it appear that they're poor?
No.
No? Okay. That's all I'm worried about, because the food that's been sitting out for too long concerned me that they didn't have enough money.
Right, they didn't have enough money to pay for decent food.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So, I didn't know if I needed to do a perception check to see.
Well, you can if you'd like. Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check, and I'll tell you if this person looks particularly gaunt or anything.
34.
So, Foaly, would you describe your character as being particularly malnourished?
Not malnourished, but absolutely very slight and skinny to the point of gaunt if there weren't a decent layering of muscle over there. And they don't carry themselves like a beggar. They don't have that energy about them. But yeah, if you didn't know better, you might think that they were poor and not to your taste.
Child, I apologize. I do not know your name. Could you give me name, please?
I thought I told you. Or it's Kurla.
Not you, darling.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I thought you were talking to me.
You are still child, but not this child. Yes, darling.
It's Bailey.
Hello, Bailey.
And Riz will pull out a flower from their pocket and hand it to them.
I roll my eyes.
I have a favor to ask. How much food are you able to give for whatever amount? Whatever we can take on the road. I will buy.
Well, I mean, there was some mutton that we just got in yesterday.
How well is your father doing with the business?
Oh, he looks a little bit taken aback by the question. Well, I mean, things here, Roscani's never been a prosperous place. But,
how much do you need to make ends meet for the next 2 months?
I wouldn't even know.
May I talk to your father?
If you... Sure, I suppose.
Please, lead me to him, Bailey. And don't worry.
Can I interject for a sec?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Did they accept the gold that I gave them for the drinks? Or
They
did you cut
didn't-
in before that?
Yeah, Riz cut in before that and interrupted the transaction.
Okay.
Riz pulls out a sugar cube for the child, too.
This is a treat as well for you. It is yummy and sweet.
The kid takes it, not sure what it is.
I chime in. I can pay for my own drinks here, and I did say that I'd be buying this round.
You can buy the drinks. I'm going to buy the food.
It's 4 copper.
All right. I pull out a silver and just pass it over, as if to demonstrate, hey, I don't need you to take pity on me. I can cover this. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And also,
Riz isn't looking at you.
also, I say to myself, when did this wee business start? This wee need food for the road.
So Riz is going up to the father and just talking about whether or not he's doing well financially.
Okay.
I see your child is working for you, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we make a good team, I think.
Is it too hard on
Did he
him?
do
I
a-
want to make... He's
Did he
doing
do a-
wonderful. I just want to make sure it is not too hard on him. Working at such an early age is very rough on youth. I want to make sure he is well.
He takes the afternoons off. It helps
Riz
me
just
in the-
takes his hand and puts a gold piece in it, just wraps his hand and starts walking away.
That is for everything.
Just waves and goes back to the seat.
All right.
Well, I think we will have a lovely meal tonight.
I just give them a rather disdainful look. I was a tad bit ostentatious, don't you think?
I believe children deserve the best.
Oh, is that what you had growing up then?
Riz looks embarrassed for a moment.
I simply believe that children are the future, and the best we can treat children and teach them that giving gives better lives, the better they will be when they grow up.
My glower softens for a moment, and I pick up the ale. Well, all right, I'll drink to that then.
Riz holds out their mug.
I clink.
Clonk.
Riz will chug that thing like a motherfucker. You ain't never seen an old person that you're looking at drink like this.
Can I do a perception check to sniff the contents of that bag, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. That is a 30.
So you can definitely pick up the pungent scent of meat that has turned. So it is, while not life-threatening, it is definitely enough that you think it would probably give someone a stomachache if they ate it.
All right. I grab a piece of it, and I don't even offer it to Riz. I just reach in, grab a hunk, and eat it as if I'm doing the most normal thing in the world.
Mm-hmm. And Riz, you don't even need to make a perception check. You can very plainly smell this.
Riz distinctly just plugs their nose in front of you.
This is a studied sort of nonchalance as I go to town on this rotting meat.
So, you are a traveler, yes?
Aye, that's about the long and short of it. I see that you're one as well, and quite a well-hailed one.
Not from here.
No? Whereabouts, then, if I may ask?
All over the world.
That covers a lot of territory.
Yes, this one is very old, but very new to me. I have never been to such a young acting old world.
I'm sorry, did you say world?
Yes, you... Right. This one is new-ish in a weird way. Do not worry. It is perhaps too much for you. Some people understand it and some people do not. I cannot fault them at that.
I just look slightly lost and like I'm trying to decide whether or not to follow up on this. I take a sip of the ale instead.
The ale's pretty good.
That's good ale.
Not one for my fortitude save for the alcohol, by the way.
Nice. All right.
Ooh.
You feel pretty good from that.
Riz looks happy.
Yeah, you knock down that first one and you feel pretty good.
At what point do I need to do one on
Every
one?
time, the way we house rule alcohol is every drink you have. So that would be like a shot of hard whiskey or like hard liquor, a glass of wine, or a mug of ale would
Okay.
be one fortitude save.
I'm working my way through mine slowly.
Okay, so
Yeah,
when you
Riz
finish,
just down that shit.
yeah, so when you finish your first drink, if you want to just toss out a fortitude save, we can see how much it affects you.
Gotcha.
So Riz is particularly affected by that. So that was enough to get Riz pretty tipsy, or at least tipsy.
Well, you're a traveler.
I think we may have covered this already, but do you want to just step back for a moment and go back to that world business? Can
Yes,
I?
what do you want to know about the other worlds? I have been to so many.
This would be kind of surprising to me, right, Beardy?
Yeah, this is nonsense.
This is nonsense. Okay. Can I do how would I wheedle information out? Would that be a diplomacy roll?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, I'd say that.
okay. I do want to do a sense motive because I do want to get a sense of whether or not you're just BSing me. But
Sure. Go for it.
that is a 28.
They're completely telling the truth.
I
They
can't.
might also be very drunk, tipsy at least.
So the truth, as far as you believe it to be true, in your inebriated state.
Correct.
Okay, I can live with that. I finish my drink and am still kind of trying to figure out how much I care about this crazy old person's story. And I better roll fortitude then. That's a 14.
Okay. You feel a little bit warm after that, for sure.
Riz leans back in their chair and looks back to see if the kitchen's getting worked on with any food.
So I should have asked before. What pronouns do you use? And it was It was risen, right?
Yes, Riz or Risen. It is whatever is easier for your pronunciation. I've been to so many places. It is very hard to say it sometimes, even for me.
So it's Riz to your friends, is it? Well,
Sure.
if it is, I'll be calling you Risen.
Whatever you care for.
Right. But sorry, your pronouns you said?
They, them.
They, them, right. Well, same,
It
so
works best.
that'll be easy to remember. It's the same hair.
Good to know. I usually just default for that anyways. I'm never quite sure what people see.
I gesture for another brew, because if this is going to be the tenor of the conversation with all this talk of other worlds, I'm clearly not drunk enough yet.
All right. So Bailey will swish back over and set down a platter of mutton.
Thank you,
back?
darling.
It appears to be a spiced mutton. It has like a gravy poured over much of it. And there's also a couple more ales.
I stick to my rotting beef.
Did you try the sugar cube, darling?
Riz is just talking to Bailey.
I know, but it's still great.
Yes, sir, I did.
What do I look like to you, darling?
I don't understand the question.
Don't worry about it. Do you know where a good place to get carrots in this area would be?
What, you're gonna give him a carrot next? He's not a horse, he's a human being, for crying out loud.
Riz just raises their eyebrow at you.
It is for my horse.
Did you want some carrots? We've got some in the back, fresh from the
I
farm.
would love... Oh my goodness, you're so wonderful. Yes. Here, silver coin, yes, for that? The currency is so different here.
Bailey will happily take a silver coin from you.
Riz will hand it to him.
All right.
That one is just for you, okay? You use it to buy things for self.
He says, thanks, mister, and then bounces off into the back to gather you some carrots.
Riz is smiling and leaning back in chair.
I want to swig the rest of my brew, because I'm getting more and more concerned about the mental stability of my friend here. That's a 21.
Okay. You take that drink fairly well.
Alright, I look at Riz and just... Alright, out with it! Because I don't have a clue what you're on about here with this otherworld business, but you seem to be telling the truth as far as I can tell, and that does not make much sense. So is it just the ale getting to you, or are you totally crazy, or what's going on with you? What's your story? I gotta know.
So for a moment, Riz straightens up, and you see a very piercing gaze at you, as if they're calculating what you're saying.
I do not think you understand. This world has been cut off from the other worlds for a long time. As far as I have traveled, it has not existed.
What other worlds are you on about? No, you're right, I don't understand, because you're not explaining yourself.
The universe. It is made up of multiple worlds. It is not your fault that this one has been closed off. But I am new here.
Alright, let's say I believe you.
Alright.
What are you gonna do about it? I mean, are you here by choice, or what?
I am looking for a coin.
Alright, let me see if I've got this right. You travel between different worlds.
Yes.
Looking for money.
Mm-hmm.
That's your sole motivator there.
Yes.
Oh, God's preserve
I have to
me.
do this.
Right, well, I suppose that's admirable in its directness, isn't it?
I am a very direct and literal person.
Oh yeah,
Open
believe
book,
me.
yes.
Believe me, I've noticed that. For crying out loud.
Then what is your problem, darling?
Well, as I said, you're the most charlatan-esque real person that I've come across lately. You're either the sanest crazy person or the craziest sane person. It's very hard to tell with you.
Would you like to find out?
I mean, it depends what you're offering there. I look rather confused and not quite sure where they're going with that.
You appear down on your luck socially.
Oh, do I know? You might want to mind your own business about that. Looks can be deceiving, don't you think?
Raising your voice is not necessary.
Oh, apologies, I suppose.
You did not know better. I forgive you. You see, I noticed that people here do not like Half-Orcs. I assume it's not just this village based on how used to it you seem.
I gesture for another ale. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. That's about the size of it.
I have known for people to see what they want to see in people. This is not always good. This is not exactly how you see yourself, or maybe it is. It depends on how malleable the person's mind is. However, I believe if you wanted some aid in the ways of people, you could come with me.
What, on your magical quest between worlds for money?
No, I'm staying in this world for a while.
Oh.
I feel like I must, but I am not sure why.
Well,
so I am here.
Look like I'm considering the invitation. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I've kind of run out of ideas of where to go next for my own magical journey between worlds, if we want to call it that.
You are drunk?
No, I'll... Alright, yeah, fine. I'll stick with you for a little while. It could be fun, I suppose. That's about all that's left of me.
Riz pushes the plate of mutton towards you. Now eat up.
I'm good with what I've got, thank you very much. I take another large portion of... No, I deliberately look for the most pungent rotting piece of meat and take a large bite of that.
Is that more your flavor?
Again, that's one way of putting it, yeah.
Alright. This meat is salted enough so it should last a while. However, I will give you any rotted pieces after it goes bad.
Much obliged. I must say you're the one... I try and play it off a little bit, but you're the first person I've ever met who's actually not made a big deal of it.
Why should I care?
Well, people tend to, but, people care about all sorts of strange things. You will have seen a bit of that when you came into town.
Riz shrugs. I've seen people of every look, shape, and color. I don't particularly care unless someone is being harmed in some way.
I give you an appraising look, as if my opinion of you might be improving. I'd say it is. I look moved by that last sentiment.
But this is secret. And Riz will wink at you, and then chomp onto a part of the mutton, not really caring if they're messy or not.
For the first time, I crack a small smile, which looks a little bit alien to my features, but it's not a bad look.
So do you respect your elders?
There's a smirk on Riz's face.
I'm not sure I know where you're going with that.
You treat me very old. Not just my age. You said I looked a little 100-ish? Yes?
It's my sense of humor. I was poking a bit of fun at you.
No, I'm just trying to figure out if what you see is what you like or what you hate.
Another chomp on the meat.
To be honest with you, it's a little bit too soon to tell. I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out.
Alright, sounds good.
So far, I'll say that I've got a better opinion of you than the rest of the people I've encountered in this town, although that's not a high bar.
That is true. Do not worry, they are down on their luck. They do not know better and are unfamiliar to outside forces.
Oh yeah, down on their luck, and the smile drops. They have absolutely no concept of what it's like to be down on your luck.
Everyone's concept will be different, darling. The point is to help those you see who need help.
Aye, well, I'll drink to that as well, although I look around, not quite certain if that third ale ever arrived. Clearly the first two are doing their job.
I assume they have. Another nat one for my fortitude. 7!
Oh boy. Okay, well you are definitely feeling it now.
I'll roll my third as well. Oh, 22. What's going on?
Kurla, you are handling your alcohol quite well. However, this crone that's with you is not.
I'm skeletal and I can hold my booze. I love it.
Don't I look like an old crone to you?
You look like a very drunk old crone.
Exactly. That's probably why I'm drunk.
Good lord. You might want to go a little bit easy on those, especially at your age.
Do not worry. That is my last one.
I would hope so. The number of times that horse must have carried you home when you're in your cups, I shudder to even think.
There's a somber look on this drunk person's face.
Do not mention horse. Horse does enough. But do not tell horse. It will go to head. Bah. It is
so fucking stupid. God, it does not even... And of course they're going on a fucking drunk rampage about this horse. It doesn't even know where to go when I ask it to anymore. It just stands there. And it doesn't even listen.
I make a motion at the server, sort of a chopping motion at my neck as if to say, no more booze, we're done. And I as I kind of nod along to this tirade about the horse. The unnamed horse.
Yep.
And the horse. It is bred so beautifully, and it does not listen.
I just very awkwardly reach out and try and sort of give you a reassuring pat, like, okay, this is just surreal. Am I dreaming right now, or is this actually happening?
They flinch when you touch them, but they're too drunk to fully react.
This has gotten to an interesting place, hasn't it?
What, the drunkenness? I am still waiting on carrots.
Oh, well,
Riz just starts looking around
when those
expectantly.
When those carrots get here, we might want we might want to think about getting you to bed.
Yes.
I mean, getting you into bed. I mean, you getting some sleep.
Don't worry. There is another bed for you too.
Oh, thank gods for that.
You are my ward now, and I will protect you.
I beg your ward? I beg your pardon?
Their head knocks back to the back of the chair. Kind of looks like they slammed it enough to crack their head slightly, or at least give themselves a bruise. That is wake-up call. Oh!
I just raise my hand in the air and go, alright, a check, please?
Alright.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Had to.
Nice title job. Nice title job.
Okay, so at that point, Bailey is going to come over from the back with a bag of carrots and explain that this is all the carrots they had. And
That is good enough.
Pa said to give you everything that you asked for. So
That
there's
is very
that.
sweet of your paw. Now you are going to use that money for fun, yes?
Mm-hmm. Just like you said, sir.
Good. I am glad.
And they're bobbing their head because they're obviously drunk.
So, you let your paw take care of you in this business, and you take care of yourself, yes? And do not forget to do well to others, just as I have to you.
Yes, sir.
Good. I will be going now. Thank you very much for all of your assistance, and I hope you have a wonderful life.
So he will give you the bag of carrots, and I'm going to go ahead and deduct 1 silver piece from... Well, who's paying for the mutton?
I paid 1 gold to the guy just for everything.
Okay. In that case, yeah, you're paid up. Okay.
And I think I'll leave another silver, because I think with the drinks for both of us, if I was getting all the rounds, that would have taken me to 12 copper. Cool. So, yeah, I leave another silver just as a tip, and to cover any more rounds.
Okay. Alright, so I have adjusted that.
Thank you.
Alright, so the two of you are paid up, and it is, I would say it's mid-evening. You've spent a good chunk of the day there.
Does this frail crone look like they need a hand getting back to their
I'm holding
wagon?
a bag of carrots and a mutton.
Yeah, holding some mutton and a bag of carrots and moving around sort of wobbly, but not infirm.
Oh, I grabbed my my wonderful rotten beef and stash that somewhere, if that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I stick close to Riz, ready to catch them if they look like they're going to fall, but also looking like I want to be literally anywhere else in the world, but here with this drunk, crazy person who loves their horse and hates their horse.
So the two of you make it out of the river bend and back over to the wagon in the center of town. And the horse has wound itself around a pole and is sort of stuck.
Oh no!
There's just a flat expression while looking at the horse.
Oh goodness.
Did I just say to just stay where you were? Why do you never listen?
It looks at you expectantly.
No, you do not get the carrot after that. Yourself.
I'd say under my breath, well, maybe it never listens because it's a horse, you crazy old bent.
Listen, you will get carrots tomorrow if you're good, but today you were bad. Do not backtalk me.
It claps a hoof on the ground.
That is more like it. Again, carrots tomorrow, okay? We have a new resident, by the way. You better treat them with respect. At least more so than me. But do not let them touch you.
The horse
this...
blankly stares at Riz. That's it. That's all it does. It doesn't look at the new person. It just blankly stares at Riz.
I try to avoid making any eye contact with this horse anyway, just because, yeah, animals and I are not usually friends. So are we getting into the cart?
Yeah, I'm just finding the right spell.
My god, what are you doing to that poor horse? Hasn't it suffered enough?
So Riz goes over to the side of the wagon and presses their hand on it and murmurs something, and they're going to cast Vargo Vargon.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, room is ready.
And they open the back door to it.
Okay. Would you like to describe the interior?
So inside appears to be far larger than it is on the outside.
Oh, here we go.
There are plenty of spaces. There's an entire kitchen. There's pans hanging up from the ceiling. However, it's completely disarrayed. However, there's plenty of space. Several rooms, a kitchen, a living room, and plenty of weird boxes all over the place.
If there's a Dalek as well, I'm out, because this has just got silly.
Nope.
I'm bigger on the inside. It's all good. My jaw drops at the sight of this.
Is there issue?
Would I have seen any magic like this before?
You
Beardy?
might have seen, like, extra-dimensional pockets, things like that.
Nothing on this scale.
This appears to be a very well-maintained extra-dimensional space.
Right. Well,
Make a
that's...
spellcraft check, and I can let you know if you know anything else about this.
Thank
I can
you.
identify the spell.
Marvelous. Spellcraft. That is a 23.
Yeah, you recognize this. This is similar to a spell called Rope Trick, but it appears to, instead of affect a animated rope, it affects a Vargo.
All
So-
right. I'm officially impressed. That's not something you see every day. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I think that was the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
Beardy's
Yeah,
statement.
you're fine.
Riz just smiles at you.
Take the meat and the carrots into kitchen. Horse does not get. I need to untie this asshole. And then I will get in cart with you. Okay?
I do as I'm bidden in the absence of any options that are more sane. I take the
Riz-
carrots and the meat in.
And go inside the very large interior of the Vargo.
Right.
Mhm.
It is bigger in the inside. Whew.
It will be right there.
And Riz walks around and just shakes their head at their horse as they're untangling it.
I
just-
do not even know.
It just blinks at you.
Gods, what have you gotten me into?
Can I do a stealth, or would it be a sleight of hand? It would be a sleight of hand. Can I do a sleight of hand check for something real quick?
Sure. What do you have in mind?
Pinching one of the carrots because maybe I really want to get the horse on my side because there's a part of me desperate for the affection of an animal.
Okay, you take one of the carrots out of the bag and hide it on your person.
Sleight of hand skill check, or
I
that-
think that Riz is nowhere nearby, so
okay,
Yeah, I'm not in the...
yeah,
Card,
you're out of
so-
you're out of eye shot, so you can do that with impunity.
awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
I mean, a lifetime of animals running away at the sight of you, and this one hasn't. Maybe I want to bribe it.
So after Riz is done untangling the horse, they give it a stern talking to. And they get inside the Vargo, close the door behind them.
I cannot emphasize enough the fact that it is just completely oblivious to you as you yell at it. It just stands there and blinks.
So Riz gets inside, closes the door. There's a million latches they're going over.
I'm sorry, why did you even need someone new to join the podcast when you could have just got the horse?
Do not worry about it.
Riz cracks several of their body parts and turns inside to look at you.
Well, that bed over there is mine.
It seems to have like a window seat-esque kind of bed.
Any of the others are there for your choosing.
How many are there?
3 others.
In terms of the layout, is there one that's closer to the door than yours is? Like, is there a way of putting myself between you and the door?
There's one a bit closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I take the one that offers me the best chance to make a hasty exit. Even though I saw all of the latches going and, yeah. Still,
Yeah.
lifetime of habit. Alright, well, thank you for that. I do appreciate the hospitality. I don't see very much of it, so...
Just sit on their bed that seems to be a window to the front of the cart so they can look at their horse from inside. And they just have their elbow propped on the sill and their chin propped on their fist and they're looking outside. And they're going to use the spell Keep Watch, Beardy.
Okay.
I cross over to the bed and I arrange myself on it and I guess close my eyes, but I'm not sure how much sleep I'm likely to get, and I definitely have one eye still on this crazy horse whisperer.
So, what does the interior of your Vardo smell like? I'm curious.
Hey. It smells like hay.
Okay.
Smells kind of like a farm. Without the poop.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I can't smell farm poop as easily as other people. I mostly smell hay when I pass farms, and I enjoy that smell. So that's why. It smells like a farm.
Is it gonna smell like rotten meat by morning, or is
Who knows? There's a lot of fucking hay in here.
Oh. Is that what the mattresses
the
are
kitchen
stuffed
just has,
with,
like,
or?
The kitchen has like a huge like bale next to it.
So, you mind if I ask you something?
What is it, darling?
Oh, you said you're 160 odd. Just how old is that horse of yours?
How old do horses normally live? Around their 20s. It is young still. I believe it is 9 years old now?
Right.
Or is it 10?
At this point, I'd have believed you if you'd said it was 250, so...
No, not this one.
Not this one, right. Not...
No, my first horse was much better than this one.
Oh, goodness.
Listen to everything I said.
Right.
Even without me saying it.
And what, it also had 8 legs, eh?
No, but that would have been interesting.
I guess, are we in for the night?
Yes, we are.
Awesome.
All right. Well, in that case, the two of you spend the rest of your evenings sleeping or keeping watch, however you wanted to handle that. And the night will pass, and the next morning will come. The sun comes up, as it typically does, and Kurla will wake up and notice that Riz is still sitting in the kind of the same position, propped up, looking out the window.
Did you not sleep at all last night?
I do not need to.
That explains quite a bit about your, let's just say your personality.
I have spent many lives in different towns. I wanted to make sure this odd-looking caravan did not enact strangers to light it on fire.
Fire would have been bad, yeah. Good, that was a good call, I have to admit.
People do not like the strange very often, so...
No, that's you're quite right about that one. I'm still kind of blinking the sleep from my eyes and trying to work out what's up with this non-sleeping, horse-whispering, 165-year-old house on wheels, bigger on the inside than the outside business. This is a lot for me to wrap my head around.
Well, and Riz just gets up and you hear all of their bones crack as they get out of this position they've stayed in the entire night.
Ow!
Alright. We are on to next town. This one was enough for starters for this world, but we go to the next.
I won't be sorry to see the hind end of this place, I'll tell you that.
Well, I believe you would want to get out of Cart soon. We only have so much time before it gets small again.
Before it does
So-
what now?
Get small again. And Riz is just picking up a carrot from the kitchen,
Right,
puts a apple in their own mouth, and just turns to you while still just having an apple in their mouth, not even holding it with their hands. Shaw.
I make a beeline for the door, which you did latch that pretty well, as I recall.
Yeah, that'll take you a couple of minutes.
Okay. Should I even bother, or should I? Oh, is it something I can unlatch, or is that going to be on you to?
Riz flicks their finger towards it, and it just opens with a spell, which is open.
That'll do it. I hasten outside as casually as one can when they're concerned they're about to be crushed.
Riz grabs another apple and then heads out of the door, closes it, just taps it as if they're dismissing something, and then they stride on over to you.
Well, you can get up in front seat.
Riz will pat the side that's big enough for at least 2 people to ride in.
I clamber up onto it very uncertainly, still looking around in case there's anyone still harbouring any ill intent towards me or the horse.
Riz is going to wait until your eyes lock with theirs.
I look back at Riz then.
They toss you up an apple.
I catch it and look quizzically at it.
It is breakfast. Do you not eat breakfast at all?
Well, usually it's more of the same from last night, but I thank you for it, and I sniff.
Riz takes out a small little package of some of the meat you took as well.
You can also have this for breakfast. I just want you to keep your strength up.
I take the package, not quite understanding how you grabbed it, but impressed that you did and grateful for it. I thank you for that, and I take a bite of the apple. I gotta say, it's a good apple. Tastes a little bit of straw, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's at least the scent's on everything. Riz walks in front of the horse.
I am proud of you for not doing anything all night. Here is carrot.
And Riz hands the horse a carrot.
Oh, goodness. What, hands it to up the hoof, or...?
The mouth.
Okay.
So the horse is going to blink twice, look at the carrot, look at you, and then just start gnawing on it.
Oh,
There you go.
bless.
And for a moment, they look up as if you're not supposed to see this, but they look back at the horse and start petting its mane and scratching under its chin.
I very carefully look anywhere but where that's happening.
And then once the horse is satisfied, Riz will hop up onto the other side of the seat and just look at you.
Well, are you ready?
Aye, let's get this dog and pony show on the road, eh?
Onwards then.
And Riz will yaw on the reins, hoping to the gods that the horse will move.
All right, well, energized with a carrot, the horse is going to, get the signal to move. It's going to lift its head, look around for a moment, and then start walking.
There's a sigh of relief that you hear from Riz.
So does that horse of yours have a name, or is it simply just horse?
It is just the horse.
Just the horse.
Horse. Yes.
Right.
Do not touch it.
You made that point quite clear last night. You might not remember. You were in your cups.
Oh no, I remember everything. For the most part.
I suddenly go very, very still and very, very quiet. Right, yeah. Remembering everything that, I just trail off.
Yeah.
And I take a bite of apple.
I believe I'm supposed to be here for a reason, and I believe I came across you for a reason. So, I will take you where the wind takes us, and we will help those who are in need. But do not tell them I am helping them.
I see what you did there with that little pun there. That was quite sly. And all right, I'll make sure not to mention it.
Good. I do not need people thinking I am good. That would be ridiculous.
Well, what are you then, if you're not good?
I simply want things to go along the path that they deserve.
Aye, well.
Some means need to be taken for that sometimes, good or bad. So I do not wish to be called good when I have to take means that are not sometimes.
I can understand where you're coming from there.
Yes.
If nothing else, we can make sure that everyone gets what's coming to them in the end, good or bad.
Yes. It is a good way to look at things. Towards the future, we go.
All right, so your wagon picks up speed, and you roll south out of the town onto another place. And that is where we will fade out.
Yay!
Woo!
Oh, it was so fun!
That was fun, yeah.
Oh.
I really enjoyed that.
Thanks for listening. Special thanks to William Succi and Andreas Pichler for the intro and outro themes. And as always, Emily Roll for Fantasy for this episode's soundtrack. Interested in following us on social media? Follow us on Twitter at CheckPleaseDND. Or want to support the podcast and be part of the Czech Republic? go to our Patreon under Kenishra. Until next time.